It's very, very, very simple, and that's what makes it sophisticated. Because when you do it, and you do it quickly without hurrying, and you take enough poise to probe, right? When you do that, right? When you have great poise and you have purpose, right? When you have purpose, now you make them pay.
Hello and welcome to another 3-Maw Pod. I'm your host, Cole Manbeck, flying solo without John and DY today. But look, it's a bye week for K-State football, so there's no better time to talk some K-State basketball, which tips off the regular season in less than 3 weeks on November 4th against UNC Greensboro. But we're just over a week away from a high-level exhibition game for the Wildcats versus Missouri in Columbia. And we've got the perfect guy to talk hoops with. This K-State men's basketball associate head coach Matthew Driscoll joins us on today's show, which calls for a toast from our friends over at Holiday Distillery. We know the great K-State folks over at Holiday Distillery are excited for the start of Wildcat basketball. Go pick up a bottle of Ben Holiday bottled in bond bourbon from the fine folks at Holiday Distillery. Get stocked up for the season, as well as a couple of the tailgates remaining for K-State football. Coach, first of all, thank you for joining the show. We're thrilled to have you in Manhattan. Just how have the first few months in Manhattan been as you've been reunited with Coach Tang?
Well, really phenomenal. And I go back to what you just talked about, football in the bye week. I thought it was interesting. They asked Coach, so is the preparation going to be pretty similar to the last bye week? And Coach said, well, not really. We're coming off a really good win as opposed to what happened last time. So I thought Coach had a good sense of humor. As far as what was transpired, to come back to a football school where they play football as well. North Florida, we didn't have football for 16 years. And so to see the passion and the energy that whether the score, the record, whatever it is, how it's been so consistent. We walked in the parade the other night and to see tens of thousands of people lined up along the parade route. And it's just in Manhattan in itself, Carrie, my wife, and I, it's been incredible the amount of people that just truly and genuinely love Kansas State, whatever is going on, and specifically men's basketball, that you can feel walking with Coach Tang, being with Coach Tang, either at football or in the parade or out and about, how much people truly love, respect, understand, and want us to do well. And I think our guys are starting to feel that as well, too, when they are accompanying us in these different situations. Last night, we had a meal. Somebody put a meal on for the whole team. And it was just, it's a unique, I've been in college towns before, Clemson, but Manhattan is different. I'm just telling you, it's different. There's just something different about here, and it's really special for our family.
I know you guys haven't gotten to do as much recruiting yet. I mean, you're still in your first few months on the job, but I mean, how big of a selling point is it to be able to have K-State football games with 50,000+ to be able to bring recruits into on Saturdays and showcase that atmosphere and kind of the college town vibes?
Well, in the old days, it'd be awesome, but now NIL stands for now it's legal. So, when you're paying NIL and you're doing different things, sometimes, this energy and what transpires. And when you're looking at these recruits and you're talking to these recruits, now it's a much different animal in the sense that is the guy that's put it in the books, is done it under the lights at another place, Nate Johnson, right? PJ Haggerty, Abdi Bashir, if those guys, as opposed to a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid who's coming in with no experience, no light exposure. And so you're really starting to juggle that. And then the other wild card is you go overseas. And now you can bring those guys who, like Elias, for example, he's been playing professionally since he was 14 in the same club. And so he doesn't get paid when he's young, but they see potential. And so they build him up in that club, and he's playing against grown men. So he's 14 playing against 18. He's 16 playing against 21. He's 20 playing against 27. And so those factors are enormous. However, once you get them here, and now you take your team over, or your team goes and your team walks around the tailgates, or they go and sign autographs, or they do whatever, now that is really, really, really special and helps them understand how critical it is for us. Because we know the window's small. It's a 9 to 10 month window. And so we've got to help them understand that life is way, way, way bigger. And we've got to continue to just grow and get better.
That's a great answer. I want to ask you about Coach Tang. What do you recall about your first impressions of Coach Tang when you met him 20 plus years ago and worked alongside him at Baylor?
Well, Coach Drew and I came together from Valparaiso. And so when we got there, it was he and I and one other staff member. And we just taken over, obviously, the mess that had transpired. And so hiring is obviously at the forefront. But what people fail to understand is it was August 21st or 22nd, the press conference, and Monday started fall term. And so we were right into it. And there was only 3 of us. You know, we're ripping and running and this, that, and the other. And the good thing is I was 38 that time, going on 39, and I was the oldest guy on staff. So Coach Drew was not only young, but also a first-year head coach. And then we start hiring, and the next guy we hired, Coach Tang, is actually a high school coach. He had a lot of great players. He had NBA players, but it's different between getting recruited by college coaches and being a college coach. And so to have my office next to his and to help mentor him, and then he, in and of himself, help mentor me and help me become better at several different areas that I wouldn't say I was like really poor at, but I just lacked the understanding and the knowledge. And, you know, you can become smart by touching the stove, but you can be really wise by watching your brother touch the stove. So I was trying to just grasp that wiseness of recruiting, and when you had those guys at that level, because I obviously came from Clemson, so I had been at that level, but I was only on the road briefly. And then we hired a guy named Paul Mills, who's the head coach of Wichita State from high school. So you're talking about guys that come in and you get to mentor these guys. And Coach Tang had an incredible heart. Like, he loved human beings. He loved people. He loved helping people. He loved serving people. Like, he really taught me a lot. Like Mark 10:45, it says, I came to serve, not be served. Like, it resonated with me, with Coach. And so I never thought I was a bad human being. I'm not saying that. But my point is, he oozed what he oozes now. So here's what we say. You squeeze a lemon, get lemon juice. Lime juice. Orange juice. When you squeeze Jerome Tang, you get that love and that understanding and that compassion and the empathy. And so I think that's what's helped him be the coach that he is today. But also, too, he wants to learn. He wants to grow. He wants to get better. He wants to listen. And so Coach and I mean, we were thicker than thieves. Godparents to his daughter. I mean, it just, I love him like a brother, and I know you hear that a lot, but it says in Proverbs, you know, like, he's so critical to me, even though he's not my blood. He is my brother. And to be with him now, and especially the way it went down, you know, they gave me an extension, but God called. There was a couple other things going on, but God called. And the fact that Coach prayed about it and called me, and I wanted to help other people get the job, but the fact that I could tell, I knew it was the right time to do it. I knew I was doing the right thing. And then the other thing I knew, Cole, was, like, think about this. 16 years ago, Division I basketball was completely different. Like completely different. Now, the Big 12 was a beast. Durant, Beasley, Griffin. Like the Big 12 was a beast. Beasley had 44 and Walker had 31. Problem was we got 92. Got that dub. But my point is, like when I was coming back, we had beaten South Carolina and Georgia Tech last year and Purdue and Illinois and all that stuff. But I didn't quite grasp this newness, right? So I didn't recruit a single dude on the team. Like not a single cat on the team. But guess what? What matters is how much you pour into them. Like the cup ain't half empty or half full. It just needs poured into. And so Coach Tang is really special in the way in which he is who he is. And he truly, truly, truly is a genuine human being.
Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pre-game coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Well, on the subject of college basketball landscape changing, Coach, I wanted to hit on this. Obviously, in just the last couple of years, you had your best player, Chaz Lanier, leave for Tennessee, a guy you developed and possibly the best shooter in the country, left for Knoxville. He became
Jerry West Award winner.
Yeah. Became a national name, top guard in the SEC. Then you had two of your guys hit the portal this offseason, went to Indiana and Miles and Josh Harris. Just how challenging was dealing with that in the portal the last few seasons? And what, if any, impact did that have on you, moving on from North Florida and wanting to take a job at Kansas State?
So, and don't forget, Liam Murphy went to Purdue.
That's right.
And then Jalen Smith went and got paid. So it started 3 years ago. Jose Placer went to South Florida, got paid. Jerry Hicklin went to Oklahoma State. You might remember him and got paid. Jonathan Abar went to FIU and got paid. And Jaden Parker went to East Tennessee State and got paid. So we're 500. The next year, we have Chaz Lanier, and I'm thinking about walking away from it. So I'm going to go to the press conference in November to start the Big 12 media days, and I'm just going to resign. I'm praying about it, and I'm going to resign. But we go on a trip to Costa Rica. We got 7 new players. Chaz Lanier is going to be his own guy, so to speak. I love this team, and I'm like, man. So we end up 4-0 to start the season, 5-1 going into Eastern Kentucky. Chaz is starting to blow up. Things are going crazy, and it was unbelievable. So then Chaz, he has to leave. Like, he has no choice. But we did it the right way. We sent him to the NBA Combine. We got him prepared for the Combine. His agency got him prepared for the Combine. But the rules changed right in the middle of it. They said you have to go. See, we weren't going to let him go in the portal till June because we didn't want him to be worried about it because there were some teams that were going to take him in the 40s. And we didn't want him to be thinking about like transferring and all that stuff. Well, they changed the rule. Chaz, you got to go in the portal. Well, as soon as he went in the portal, it really hurt his NBA workout. He had to cancel some workouts. Then he went BYU, Kentucky, Tennessee all in a row. And so come back from that. We got 8 new guys. I'm like, man, this is probably when I need to do it. Unbelievable summer. Love our guys. Our 2 sophomores that 2 of them are going. One's in Indiana, are getting better. This freshman, he's going to go to Indiana. This transfer from Columbia, who didn't play the year before, he's going to be at Purdue. And so I'm like, man, I like this team. So you get the team, and you're like, man, we got a chance. First game, who do we beat? South Carolina. Come home. Second game, UNC Greensboro, beat them by 20. Third game, Georgia Tech. We win. So we're the first team in NCAA college basketball history to ever go on the road in the first week of college basketball and be 2 Power 4s, Power 5s, whatever you want to call them. So on real road games. And so you're like, wow. Well, that's when the wheels fell off. Agents. I asked the team, and Josh, 8 guys raised their hand. I said, Josh, just out of curiosity, how many? He said, 20, 30. So now you're fighting all this stuff, right? So then we get it going again. We get it cooking again. But once we got it cooking, it felt like we should just never overcome. We just didn't defend like we could have. We scored it, obviously, at an incredibly high efficient rate, and we were really good at that. But so that's the part that people don't realize. The amount of people that are pulling at our guys, the amount of people that are trying to help these guys understand the whatever it is they think is important. Our guys got to understand social media, like stay off it. Like don't respond, don't read, don't listen, don't get caught up in all that stuff after games and this, that, or the other, which Cole, is very, very common. And then, like Kobe said it to Saban, he did an interview with Nick Saban, and Kobe was like, listen, man, y'all don't understand, like to his family. Like, close your mouth. Quit saying that. I shouldn't be on. I'm not ready yet. I'm not doing the things I need to do. But quit feeding this nonsense into me and let me continue to grow and listen to coach and listen to the other great players around me, right? Wise counsel, and allow that stuff to help me. Let it go in one ear out the other and retain what's important, right? Yeah. So you got me sweating, by the way. So I think it's really important that we understand there's a lot of different minutia all over the place that's coming, right? And we've got to do a good job as coaches. We've got to do a good job as not to hold them accountable, but also to help them understand that there's a big picture. So,
yeah. Well, Coach, it's a great response. And look, we're going to make this our top storyline as we shift to more basketball and on the court philosophy stuff here, because I'm really interested to hear your perspective on this. I've heard some of it before. We're going to make this our top storyline of the show, brought to you by Elanco, the home remodeler of choice in the Kansas City area, northeastern Kansas and western Missouri. Go to elancohome.com for all your home improvement needs. Great K-State company, full of folks that I know are eager for the arrival of K-State hoops. Coach, I've listened to you on the Coaching You podcast in the past describe your offensive philosophy as, quote, we've got players, not plays. Whenever you've got the best shot, that's your shot, whether it's in the first 4 seconds of shot clock, last 3 seconds. I've heard you talk about shot quality being more important than anything else and talking about space, pace, and embrace. What does the ideal Matthew Driscoll coached offense look like?
I tell you what it is. I'll give you that's a great question. I'm going to give you the simple answer. Sharing the sugar. Because simple is so sophisticated that when you share the sugar and you're actually trying to get your teammate the best shot we can get them whenever that transpires, then everybody's going to eat. And so when PJ gives it up, PJ's going to get it back. And when Abdi turns one down, because good, better, best, never let it rest till your good's better and your better's best, Tim Duncan's grandmother allegedly came up with that So, like, that is what it looks like, because simple is so sophisticated when you move the ball to side. When you get to the third side, you're usually going to get an open, you're either going to get a layup or dunk or a rhythm three. And that's what we do. Layups and dunks and rhythm threes, layups and dunks and rhythm threes. And the guys, to their credit, have continually grown and grown and grown and grown and grown and gotten better and better and better and better and better. And when you got players, not plays, you still have to have plays. Like, you still have to have all this stuff that you got to do, because you're trying to get certain guys in certain positions to do certain things. But sometimes, Cole, you don't let us do it. So you decide when they do this or they do this or they run this, you're going to do something different. Should have been a baseball coach. Well, I was being running at the time. Like you're going to do something different. And then when they do, that's where the players, and it's conceptual. So when you do this, you do that. If they do this, then you do that. If you do this, then they do that. If they do that, then you do this. It's like mathematics. And it's real simple. As soon as you get two guys on the ball, now it might be two guys on a roller. So we might roll a ball screen, two guys might converge, and now we're spraying and playing. And so those are the things that we're really trying to improve and the things that we're really trying to coach. And remember, we had to change some things and do some things differently, because if not, you're not very intelligent, right? If you don't adjust things based on your personnel. And so at North Florida, we're fortunate because we kept on bringing in round pegs and put them in round holes. So it made it simple, right? But here we got differences. So we have to figure out, okay, in the summer, what does this look like? What does this look like? And now we've tweaked, we've changed, we kept the basics, but we fixed some of the nuances to them, so to speak. And now it's starting to really, really, really flow. Like, it's really starting to flow. And now we can start at 24 and a half court, and we can go under 10 seconds on the shot clock. And then we can find our next, you used the word quality. We can find our next shot for our teammate. And it's not a rhythm dribble, step back three. That's when it's late in the clock and you're doing your whatever, right? Or Abdi's already made 6 threes. But you have to figure that out. And so once you do, you learn to score under 10. I'll give you a great example. Yesterday, it was incredible. Second team All-American, if I'm correct, PJ Haggerty gets in a lane with 3.5 seconds on the clock. He had it, I don't want to say easy, but for him a lot of life is. He had an easy floater. However, in the bottom right X corner was Abdi Bashir like this. And he made 477 threes on Saturday without missing 2 in a row from 5 spots. 477. His previous record was 279. He made 255 in one spot before he moved. But anyways, he's open in the corner and catch and shoot 3. 3.5 on the clock when he threw it. 1.9 on the clock when he released it. There was still 1.5 seconds. So it just showed that they're starting to understand layups and dunks, rhythm threes. Now, if PJ would have taken a shot, so be it. But it showed some differences or some things where, as a coach, you're starting to really, really, really see them embrace that and grow with that. And you know, Coach Tang, his defensive mind. And here's the other thing too, Cole. I hope I can interject something on the side.
Yeah, of course.
Coach, listen now. Coach might have been born yesterday, but he wasn't born last night. So he knows how to play offense. And the reason why is because he understands defense. And if you think for 1 minute a 60-year-old guy like me is going to walk into an office like this and not in some way pick the brain of every single person in here, with or without them knowing, I'm just trying to gain information. right? It's your number one commodity. I'm trying to gain information. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? How do you like this? How do you like the way we get the ball in bounce? How do you like the pace? What does this team like to do against this? What do they do on here? What did you guys do when you coached there? What did you do when you coached there? And I'll give you an example. Coach Drew gave me 8 videotapes. We said, watch them. Why is Kansas so fast in 2003? He never used in 23 years a single thing. But we use it. We use it here. That's why Roy Williams was so fast. I get the job in North Florida. I tell Coach Kennan, bring all the tapes from the league. I hired him from Campbell in the league. 32 games. I'm watching the league. But I'm watching Campbell play 32 times. And all they did was this. It wasn't the Wabash. It was roll and replace, roll and replace, roll and replace, roll and replace. And so here they come. I'm like, man, this is awesome. So 16 years, that's what we did. And then we tweaked it and we changed it and we did some different things for it. Yada, yada, yada. So my point is, like, as you put all this stuff together, right, and you start writing up on the board and you start doing different things, right, and then you start drawing plays and then you start running through them at practice and all that stuff, like, you really get excited about where we're going. And, you know, we're shooting the ball pretty well right now. But like everything in life, the more times you can catch and shoot. So Chaz Lanier, you mentioned earlier, he made 123 threes last year, which, by the way, Abdi was the best shooter in the country. He made 123 threes. 106 of 123 were his left foot planted, where he had rhythm because that was his permanent pivot foot. And so our guys are starting to embrace that. Get that rhythm, 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 rhythm. It's not about, like, you don't want to be open and be like, oh, I'm open. You want the same every time, every time, every time. So when it's contested, it's the same. And when it's not, it's the same. So layups and dunks and rhythm threes, for sure.
Hearing some of the stuff that you talked about, I recall a quote from you, right? And I'm paraphrasing here. Success is like breadcrumbs you pick up along the way, right?
That was a great example of what I just said. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Good quote. Thank you.
What, from an analytical standpoint, Coach, you had just hit on a lot of it. Like, what metrics do you pay most attention to when you shape your offense?
Well, you know, this team, some of these guards have a little bit more dynamics than maybe we've had at North Florida as a group. So, for instance, PJ took 274 free throws last year. Yeah. So his ability to get downhill, he's very crafty in there. He's very good at pivoting. He's gotten even better at pivoting and finding those different things. Nate is extremely large for a guard. And obviously when you're the defensive player of the year and the player of the year, it creates a little bit of a difference, with you. And so those two guys in and of themselves can really, really do some different things than just, shoot threes and or just spray the ball. They can actually score around the rim. And that's the one thing Chaz was really special at, and actually our team, because the more you space, right? So when you bring pace and you run the rim and you bring great pace, now the defense is lowered. Then when you space, right, that's when you start creating these driving angles or these multiple gaps. So, for instance, the ball's on the side, and now you open up a triple gap in the middle by doing something. Or the ball's in the middle, and you open up a double gap to either side by doing something. And so for a guy like PJ or a guy like Nate and even David, CJ, like those guys have really been impressive about doing different things. David's had a heck of a camp. And so like those guys can do multiple things. And the one thing I love about it, Cole, is they haven't settled like, oh, this guy's a 3-point. He likes the 3-point. No. We like layups and dunks and wide open threes. We want rhythm threes. We don't just want threes. And so I think it's a misnomer amongst people. They just think you want to chuck a luck, right? But that's not what it is. And so I think, and the other thing, Cole, is our forwards have done an amazing job as connectors and then catch and shoot threes. As connectors, meaning they're making the next play. They're like a lead guard because everybody's a lead guard when they get the ball, right? 95% of the game is played without the ball. You play 95% of the game without the ball. Yeah. So, like, when you go to that next action, our forwards have been really good at connecting us or being prepared to shoot a stationary three. And so it's been really, really special. It's been really fun to watch. And like you said, Missouri is going to be a great test for us. And it's not going to be like whatever the term is you want to use. It's going to be a great test for us to not only compete, but more importantly, to have these 10 new guys who blend in with the 4 guys that came back and to have this group create synergy. Because, Cole, you've been around too long. I've been around way too long that when talent is equal, character is going to separate you. And your ability to have synergy, your ability to be disciplined and have a commitment to consistency, those are the things that are going to make this team really, really special that we have to continue to hone in on.
Chiefs Kingdom, I have got a question for you. What is your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, I can confidently say that my favorite touchdown, it's the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From the first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. From spreads to money lines, same-game parlays, regular parlays, you want it, DraftKings has got it. Here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I use DraftKings Sportsbook, and you should too. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Coach, when you look at PJ's analytical view from the last couple of years, he's been pretty good at the mid-range too, mid-range jump shot. And I hear you talk about layups, dunks, and threes. So, like, how do you coach that out of him? Like the mid-range shot? Like, what's your philosophy there and how you coach these guys that are accustomed to shooting that mid-range shot?
So Chaz shot 48% on 64 attempts in the SEC from the middle game, right? So there's certain outliers. And that's the thing that people have to understand. There's always outliers. But it also means that when he gets down there, like the greatest bang for your buck is a dunk or layup, right? Mm-hmm. Second greatest bang for your buck is a free throw. Free throw may be the best, depending on how well you shoot it. He shot like 80, 81, 82, something like that. And then the three-point shot. And so if he gets loose and he gets the one, so be it. But if you're having a steady diet of it, analytically, they're going to catch up to you. So there's always outliers in those particular cases, and Coach Tang's done a great job helping those guys understand that as well too. And so those things transpire. But the other thing is, Cole, he's so crafty at getting inside there that he gets fouled so much.
Yep.
And so 274 free throws is, I'm not sure I've ever seen a player shoot that many free throws. And the other thing on the flip side is, somebody's got to get the fouls. So who's getting the fouls and who's getting out of the game? Right. And now who are you playing against? Because is it their best guard that's fouling you? Is it their best interior guy that's fouling them? I don't know. But he has that ability. Therefore, it switches the lineups. Like, I don't think anybody talks about the importance of not only the 274 free throws, but what it does to the other team.
Yep. And how they defend you. Right. Yeah. Coach, you talked about the fast break and the transition, and I think you had said at one point you did a 25-page dissertation on the pace that Kansas played with Roy Williams, right?
For Coach.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Kirk Heinrich was the lead coach.
Yeah. Those guys gave me nightmares. Coach as a Kansas State fan, Jeff Boschee, all those Kansas teams.
Was Graves one of the centers on that team?
Yeah. Jeff Graves. I can't remember Chenoweth. Nick, our producer, he's a Kansas.
Simone, was Wayne Simone on that team, or Simeon?
And yeah, he might have been on that team. Yeah.
Then they had Khan kid at some point.
Yeah, Sean.
Oh, they had the Khan. Remember the big kid from Russia?
Oh yeah, Sasha Khan. Boy,
yeah,
you're giving me PTSD with all these names. So
hey, when you're at Baylor with 6 scholarships, trust me, I know where you're at.
Yeah. Well, it made me think back when I played high school ball. Our coach, he loved to push the tempo, and we had a play called Kansas because that was when Roy Williams was the coach at Kansas, and he wasn't a KU fan, but they were the best team in the country at getting up and down the court. And I bring that up because, do you have like an ideal pace? Do you put a number on it in terms of possessions per game you want? Is it getting the ball across half court in the first 2 to 3 seconds? Is it off a catch and made shot out of the basket, getting it inbounded and across the court in 2 seconds? Like what's your philosophy when it comes to pushing the tempo?
It's funny. I can't believe you just asked that question, because I literally was messing around this morning with a bunch of stuff from North Florida and Kansas State, and then knowing what is going on in the league too. And I was just telling Coach this morning, it looks like the sweet spot is somewhere around 70. Like the year they were really good with Marquise, it was about 72 possessions. But they also, if you remember, and I only like to look at conference play. And I don't know what you think about this, but here at Kansas State or at North Florida, like the non-conference has got a bunch of ebbs and flows as far as who you're playing, right? But in the league, it's apples and apples. So I looked at just conference numbers. And that year, you were 72. Well, what's crazy is you were 14 turnovers a game. And so conversely, last year, you were 11 turnovers, but maybe the quality of shots weren't quite as good. And so you have to look at those analytics and play through those analytics. So I would say probably the sweet spot's around 70, somewhere in that area between 68 and 70 possessions, probably closer to 70. We want to get the ball across half court in some form or fashion in 2 seconds. We want to get the ball across half court in some form or fashion in 2 seconds. We want to try to get the ball to the baseline if we can on pitch aheads, so that everybody, this, you're going to lower the defense. So if you're playing quickly and you're playing to lower, it's hard for them to get back, get set, and get lined up who they want to guard. Mm-hmm. And so if you keep playing that way, now you can find those different advantages we talked about earlier in the segment. And now you can put 2 guys either on the ball, or you could put 2 guys into a rotation. And now you're kicking and spraying and playing. And now it's a whole new animal. And so that would be ideal. Now, what do teams do? They do X, Y, and Z. They don't let this, that, or the other. And so you have to grow through that, learn through that. But it's very, very, very simple. And that's what makes it sophisticated. Because when you do it, and you do it quickly without hurrying, and you take enough poise to probe, right? When you do that, right? When you have great poise and you have purpose, right? When you have purpose, now you make them pay. If you have poise, you have purpose, well, I don't ever get this if I do this. Well, it ain't about you doing that. It's about them doing that. And then we do this, and boom, now we're putting it on them. And believe me, everybody eats. Everybody eats. And some guys eat more. I mean, it's just the way it is. And it's not anything against anyone else. But the best teams are the ones who have the most players who are all Big 12 in their role. That's the best team in the league. Whoever has the most guys that are all Big 12 in their role.
Yeah. Coach, a few more. We'll get you out of here. I'm really enjoying the conversation. So I apologize. I'm keeping you so long here. But you guys have
so no worries.
You have several dudes from Europe too, Coach. And you mentioned earlier that's an evolving landscape when it comes to recruiting. And we're seeing more coaches go overseas to bring guys over to the college game because it's legalized more now that you can do that. But what's the biggest adjustment or maybe growing pains that you see from guys coming over from Europe to play the game here? But also maybe, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but maybe what's a strength they bring to the team from their overseas experience?
Hopefully, when I answer it, I can answer both. But I think exactly what you're talking about. I was speaking to a TV personality yesterday that was at practice. And something that maybe we have to be a little bit more intentional with and probably come up with a list of rules and a list of terminology because the game is played completely different. So, for instance, you get 8 seconds across half court. You get 10 in college. You can put 4 guys to block out on a free throw. Over there, you can only put 3. You can violate early to block out. In America, you can't. In the half court, if you take the ball out and it bounces in the backcourt, you can't get it. It's a violation. And so those are just a couple. I think there's 3 or 4 more rules that are completely different that these guys aren't, used to, especially because they've played upper level professionally. I mean, Doreen's 23, Elias is 21, and early in November, Andre is going to turn 19. And so these guys have been playing a long time with those rules because most of the time the European players are in America somewhere, and then they're coming to your school. But now, because of the rules and the way in which you can do things and professional, before you couldn't play on a professional team and come back to college, and now you can do those things. So that's one thing you have to look at. Number 2 is, and I never even fathomed this, like if English is their second language, and when you're coaching them, Cole, right now you could read my lips and you could figure out what I'm saying. But they can't read my lips.
Yeah.
So if they can't hear me, if coach is doing something on one end and we're doing something on the other end, like you got to be really intentional. Slow down, move them, demonstrate. Although you got to be very intentional because it's different. And if the way which I talk, it's just, to them, it's it's not even English. So that is something that I've learned and hopefully I'll get better at. And also too, with the rules on the flip side of it, they bring incredible IQ, the ability to cut, space, spray, like they have incredible IQ because of the way the basketball is brought up where they come from. And it's crazy. Germany, Serbia, Italy, it don't matter. Moby's from Ireland, don't matter. Stevens from Canada, don't matter. So, like, they have a different IQ and a different understanding about it. And so what's crazy is, Cole, when it doesn't look the way it's been looking for them all these years or the way coach wants it to look, to them it's like, how do you guys not get this? But in reality, it's a different nuance for them to work through. And the other thing that they bring is incredible. I don't know what the word is. I want to make sure I say the right word. They're very, very, very caring, and they're very, very, very genuine about what they're here to do and why they're here. And therefore, they have a different form of gratitude or appreciation when you talk to them, you have them over the house to eat, or you do stuff like that. Just to listen to them talk about all the things that we have here that, of course, we're humans, so we take it for granted a lot of times. To them, it's just, unbelievable. And so they have a different kind of a mindset coming from there over to here. And it's helping our players become better. It's helping our staff become better. It's helping our managers become better. And the program, I think they're bringing a sense that's different, that's helping us create more synergy. And remember, too, now they were pros. So they've been playing against grown men. So they're not afraid to be challenged, and they're not afraid to compete.
Yeah. Coach, I want to circle back to your background real quick. I read a story from Jeff Eisenberg, I want to say back at Yahoo in 2021, and it was about the rebuilding job Coach Drew and all of his staff had accomplished at Baylor that ultimately led to the national title down the road. In that article, he mentioned early on in the Coach Drew era that every preseason morning at 5 or 6 a.m., the Baylor players would drag themselves out of bed, and every morning you would be waiting to run with them, brimming with energy, sometimes flanked by one or two other Baylor coaches. And a former player of yours, Tommy Swanson, was quoted in the piece saying, quote, "To see that the coaches were willing to go in the trenches with us as well meant a lot to us. With Coach Driscoll, it was as if he had been up hours before. We thought he was putting on an act and it would eventually turn, but no, that's just his spirit." Where does that energy come from, and what do you recall from that?
Wow, that's a great question. And I'm very grateful that I have it. I'm not sure where it resonates from a health standpoint. But I was raised that your last name's on everything you do. And don't you dare ever, ever screw up your last name. And it doesn't matter what transpires. What matters is that you're representing our family the way you're supposed to represent our family. And so that doesn't resonate with everybody, right? My brother committed suicide when I was 21. And it kind of gave me a different, I was in college at the time, and it kind of gave me a different perspective. He had bought me a birthday card for the first time ever in my life. And so, like, when those things transpire, you really understand that every single day you've got to be the difference in someone's life. And in order to do that, you got to know who you are. And if it means, for instance, when we practice at 7, I get up at 3:15. When we practice at 8, I get up at 4:15, and I work out, and I do all these different things that I have to do because I know that's what I need. And when I step between the black lines, I'm going to give them everything I can possibly give them. And then when I step away from it, whatever I'm doing, like they were making fun and joking and laughing about the teaching video I sent last night. And Coach Tang asked him, "What's one thing that resonated on the video?" And Abdi said, "Coach was pounding his desk. I heard him pounding his desk." You really try to pour into these young people. And I'm going to tell you this, Cole. I was telling Coach Tang this yesterday. When I did my press conference, I told people I wish everybody could hear their eulogy. Like, I really wish people could hear their eulogy to know the difference that we've made, Cole, in people's lives that we don't even know we made. Yeah. And sometimes I think when you're a leader, it's extremely lonely to be a head coach. It looks glamorous and it looks like this, that, or the other. There's only 365 of them in America. And so it's lonely. And because of that, you're just sometimes you're like, am I reaching them? Am I getting them? And my point to you is, when Will Wilson's mom was dying on her bed, in 2017, the first player that we ever went and saw, and we got the North Florida job in 2009. Like, that mattered. And then fast forward in 2021 when his dad passed away, like, that mattered. And now his wife is getting ready to have their second child without those two amazing, wonderful people. And so, like, what we do is so critical to help these guys. And because of our relationships, they're so powerful, Cole. They are so powerful. But sometimes you don't see them because you're always trying to help each other become the best version of themselves. Trying to help you become the best version of you. And trying to help, like, you're always, so these relationships and this ability to have that power to make each other the best version of themselves so that you can lead them, whomever you're leading, whether it be here, there, or over the water globally now, right? It's so, so, so critical. Because at the end of the day, in respect to the eulogy, we want our legacy, right, to be defined by how we cared and how we served and how generous we were. And everybody wants people to be generous with their money. Well, time and talent are huge. How do you elevate? How do you elevate everything you touch every single day? How do you elevate it? Whether it be me and you, or me and Carla and Ubaldo, the two people that help clean the office. Like, how can you elevate that every single day? Because you show up consistently, because you have great appreciation, because you have toughness. When things don't go right, you do the next right thing. You serve, you sacrifice, you do those things. And when you do them, you win their heart. And when you win their heart, you win the day. You win the day, you go 1-0, and it's awesome. And I think Coach calls that crazy faith. And people think you're crazy or you're weird or you're whatever. But that's where it comes from. Those powerful relationships, helping each other become the best version of themselves, whether it be here, there, or anywhere. And then most importantly, having a great care and generosity that comes along with that responsibility. So I make the bed when I get up. Like, everything I do, I'm trying to win and elevate Jesus Christ and help people understand that he is the Lord and Savior, and this guy walks differently and he thinks differently and he talks like there's something different.
Yeah. Well, Coach, your energy is contagious. It's inspiring. Gets me fired up. I would love to play for you.
I'm sweating. I need a shower now.
Yeah, I'm sorry I got you all worked up. Hey, and this isn't even a question. I just want our folks, our listeners to know. I love this story from Andy Katz when you were hired in 2009 to become the North Florida head coach. He noted that Valparaiso, where you were briefly prior to Baylor, needed some work done. In 7 weeks, you were on the staff. And it didn't matter. In the article, it says it didn't matter what the chore, that Coach Driscoll wasn't hired to be a handyman. Coach Driscoll would do anything Coach Scott Drew needed him to do in his office. And Coach Drew said at one point he thought you were hanging drywall. If someone was doing a little bit of everything from asbestos cleaning sales to construction, you name it, there was nothing he couldn't do. I was going to ask you.
Bring my tools with me. No matter what job I take, I always bring my tools.
Well, I hope we don't have any work for you to do at Kansas State. I think our facilities are okay, right, Coach?
Facilities are ridiculous, but like everything else in life, many hands make light work. And probably what's more critical is the right hands, right? So sometimes people aren't around. Sometimes you got to do this, that, or the other, and you got to do certain things. I'm a big paper cupper picker-upper. Like, it's all about making things better than the way you found them, right? And so if we do that and our guys see that, it was really cool, being in Valparaiso for 7 weeks, because I really learned being around a program like that had such high standard and such amazing, like, their history and their pedigree was off the charts. And so to be around that for a short time, you just continue to serve. Like I told you earlier, Mark 10:45. So it's, I think we never should be above anything, but also too, if we can't do it, we got to find somebody that can. So for instance, if this is going awry, I'm not going to take my screwdriver in and try to fix a light socket maybe, because I don't want to end up down, across the street at the hospital. I want to make sure. So I might have to send a text and say, hey, here's what's going on. But a lot of people, they'd be like, oh, somebody will see it. He'll do it. They'll find it. Why not just open your mouth and say something? So I just, when Andy Katz wrote that, if you read the article, it's really, really powerful because it had two things in it. Number one, I was never known as a recruiter. I was always known as a developer, unbelievable X's and O's, practice, all that kind of stuff. And then on the flip side, what's recruiting about? Relationships. It's about your ability to relate to people, to listen to people, to help them become the best version of themselves, like we said earlier, right? And then the second part was Coach Drew and Coach Scheidt were concerned about my balance, right? Did I have good enough balance? Would I delegate enough? And so I learned a lot. I wasn't a great husband. I wasn't a great father at certain times. And I'm not proud of that by any stretch of the imagination. But like when you marry right, she just kept on holding me accountable and kept on checking me and Carrie's just an amazing person. And so I think all those things, again, are critical to us, Cole, helping you with your greater other significant, whatever that looks like, or, our guys with their children, like they see our wives and children all the time. And so what does that look like? How does that resonate? Now I'm old enough, got an opportunity to maybe coach some of my players' kids. So I think it's really important that we don't, that we're very humble in what we're trying to do, and we understand there's a greater good.
Well, you highlighted something from that piece of Andy. One of the things that it noted was a caution flag from Coach Drew and then Coach Larry Scheidt as well, that about work-life balance and, being there to pick your kids up from school, et cetera. So I wasn't gonna miss this question. How special is it to have your son Chase on the staff here with you in Manhattan and you get to coach with him?
Cole, that's nice. Good segue. That's really good. There's a couple of things that are special. Number one, he played for us during our 2 championships. So that was special in and of itself. I'll never forget the first Thanksgiving we were on the road. He's a freshman, and we were going around and what we're thankful for. And it crushed me when he said it, but he said, I'm thankful to actually have a Thanksgiving dinner with my dad. And so, he finally figured out it wasn't that I didn't want to be there or I wanted to be at the Waffle House in North Carolina because we were trying to get John Wall, or whatever. It's just part of what we do. And then to have Coach Mills take him on at Oral Roberts as a graduate assistant. So someone that I was in the trenches with during what I call the lean years to help my son see if this is where he wants to go, how he wants to go, but also to pour into him as a Christian man, helping him understand about Jesus Christ. And so that was really special. And then for him to come back on staff to North Florida, that was really special. When and then conversely, to have Coach Tang, who has seen him since he was a little kid. And now my grandson's here too. And I'm going to tell you something, Cole. Carrie, my wife, we had a birthday party for my grandson. It'll be November 1st. So we had a party at the house Sunday. And many of the staff came over with their children. And unbeknownst to me, I had no idea she was going to do this until I saw the pictures. And I was like, what are these for? She had all these pictures, sort of like over there. She had all those pictures. And she was sat down with the kids. And she put them on a blanket. And I'm talking about Baylor's just turning 1. And 1-year-olds and 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds and 8-year-olds and 13-year-olds. And she showed them the pictures and she said, guys, listen, like this is what family is about. See, this is Coach Tang's son. This is Coach Tang's daughter. This is Chase. And she was showing them when they were them and how your life is going to continue to go and grow and learn and just expound. And so super grateful that he has the skill level to do what he does because he's really good at it. He loves the analytic video part of it. And so the fact that it was a fit is really cool to have him beside me.
Couple fun ones here, Coach. We'll get you out of here. And I don't know if you'll be comfortable answering this one. Who's the best shooter you've ever coached?
Yeah, that's tough. Chaz Lanier, 44% was amazing. Trent Mackey was the 5th best shooter in America in back-to-back years. Bo Beach shot 43 as a senior. Parker Smith, Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest tough shot maker. He made 11 threes in one game, 46 points. He's probably the toughest shot. JT Escobar, Garrett Sams, Carter. I mean, I probably missed somebody. It's going to be Aaron Bodiger. They're going to get mad at me. Hopefully they won't see this. But I just named a whole bunch of them. But man, and the other thing too is Cole, we had as many 1,000-point forward scores as we did guards.
Yeah.
Because when you get layups and dunks and rhythm threes, like you get so many drop-offs and so many drives to the basket, where it's one-on-one because they're afraid to leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chaz was, there's a lot.
Well, when I think about moving the ball to Coach and switching sides of the floor and not having sticky hands, right? Like how much does that help with offensive rebounding too? Because you get the defense moving so quickly and you get them into mismatches on rotations, right?
Yes. And you just made another great point. So to your point, and then +1. Number one, you can have a little on a big because they're trying to switch out and do whatever. But number two, in the way in which we play, the shots, the quality of shots, when and where they're taken is at a higher level. Therefore, the miss percentage, the miss trajectory, and if that does occur, our guys have a way better IQ what that's going to look like, as opposed to one just goes up. And now all of a sudden, you're like, whoa, like, what is that? Now you can't get to the spot, as opposed to the other way. So, yes, the mismatch, but also, too, the comfortability to understand when guys are going to shoot and where that's going to go. That double-edged sword, but a great, really good question. And I'm going to put the mental note. I can't put a Post-it on my head and keep it there. But I'm going to make a mental note of that one from now on because it's a double-edged sword. You get a double bang for your buck.
I guess tell Coach Tang maybe every now and then I might know something about it. I guess I was curious. It came to mind as I started thinking about how you guys switch sides so much in the quick passing, inside out, etc., and then long shot, long rebound, and knowing the angles of where the shot may come off as well, Coach, on the threes there to get that long rebound. Look, you mentioned a lot of the great shooters. You and I were talking off air beforehand, having a lot of fun recalling and reminiscing some past games when you're the head coach at North Florida, but also at Baylor. And look, Coach, I was on the beat covering this team. I was sitting courtside when this game happened. 2008, 2009, you guys came in at Baylor and beat the doors off Kansas State, 83-65. And Lacerius Dunn had 33 points. He went 9-12 from 3 in that game. He could not miss. Now, there's a story from that game. Coach Tang's told part of it before, but what do you recall about that? Lacerius in general as a player, and what happened in that game?
Well, first of all, it's a great YouTube. If you go watch it on YouTube, Frank Martin's face and Frank Martin's his whole mannerisms, watching it transpire. There were several of those. His 40 at South Carolina. There were a lot of words that would have caused push-ups in our program. But the night before, we had shoot-around. And to my best understanding, Lace, Cole, we called him. Lace Darius had to go to the bathroom. So, Coach, where's the bathroom? It's up the hallway in our locker room, yada, yada, yada. Well, he went up the wrong hallway, and he went up your hallway. And he pushed the door because he saw a locker room, and your locker room door was open. He went into the bathroom. On the way out, he saw a scouting report sitting on someone's wherever. Grabs the scouting report, looks it over, and he is pissed. I guess the way in which, I don't remember the verbiage, but basically he's streaky. He can only make them if he's made one. He can't this, he can't that. All you got to do is crowd him. All you got to do is do this and do all those things that got him just heightened. And I'm going to tell you what, he let it fly, let it flow, and let them know. He let it fly, he let it flow, and he let them know that they better change that. Like, it was unbelievable. And so he just cooked. He cooked y'all at that particular time, and I laughed. And if you watch the video, you can see him like, and the dudes, to the dudes' credit, like the dudes kept feeding him. Like they kept feeding him. We're like, man, this joker, he got it going tonight. And they just kept on giving him the rock. Kept on giving him the rock. But I'm going to tell you, one of my greatest memories is in the old days, the benches were by the students.
Yeah.
And they were brutal. And so Coach Drew always had me go into the huddle and say something, like, yeah, whatever. And so you can see that, right? It looks like 17 at Sawgrass, right? Looks like the famous island hole at Sawgrass. And so Coach said, go in, whatever. I went in and I start giving it to them. And all of a sudden they are on top of you. They are on top of you. And they're like, Rogaine. And I am ticked. So second half comes. Coach is like, go in. So I'm like, oh, man, these jackals are going to be Rogaining me again. So I go in, and I'm like, stay the course. Stay the course. We're right there. Just stay the course. Trust it. Believe it. Stay the course. And then Coach comes in, and Coach gets ready to talk. And next thing you know, like 5 of them are in the huddle, and they're screaming, stay the course, guys. Stay the course. And they are giving it to us. Like that was our student section here, and our environment here is second to none. And I've been to the place up the street. Yeah. I was at Clemson. I've been to Cameron. I was at Dean and Oklahoma State, and whatever else you want to say is whatever. Like, our place here, man, it's unbelievable.
When Bramlage Coliseum is back, Coach, it's one of the underrated atmospheres in all of college basketball.
And it's like straight, like it's up.
Yeah.
Like it's real.
It is. Coach, thank you so much. This was a ton of fun. Appreciate the heck out of you. So glad that you're here at Kansas State and on the staff. And we wish your family nothing but the best. We wish you guys nothing but the best this season as tip-off is closing in really fast. We're starting to reach that time of the year where one of my favorite weeks of the year is always Feast Week 2 in November when you got college football and hoops, all the tournaments going on. And
I think we'll probably beat Kansas City, right, for that?
Yep, you will. And we'll be there because that's right in my backyard. So we'll be at the games and we'll be at the home games as well. So we can
get the Big 12 media days.
I don't know if we were trying to figure out if we could make that work as a crew. We still got to make that decision.
It's next Wednesday.
So yeah, are you gonna be there too with Coach Tang?
There's a possibility I might.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, if we make it, I'll find you.
Yeah, he mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you would be great there. So
thank you, but I'm really looking forward to that barbecue.
That's why you want to come up. There you go. So, hey, I'll you know what? I'll bring you down some for a home game when I come down sometime. You just text me your order or message me.
Burn ends and me, we go a long way together.
All right.
We'll bring it down. I'm a real simple guy. I got no fanciness to me. like steak, potato, salad, simple. Like I'm that dude.
I'm pretty basic myself. We'll get that order for you, and we'll bring it to you sometime when we make our way to Manhattan. Coach, best of luck this season to you, Coach Tang, and the team, and thank you so much for joining us on 3 Mile.
Hey, thank you, and God bless.